Welcome to MLB Tonight, presented by Camping World with Harold Reynolds and Dan Plesac. I'm Robert Flores. We're going to be joined by Pete Alonso of the New York Mets in just a moment. But first, Harold, let me start with you. I think there's a bit of a Groundhog Day sentiment that has set in. But, we all got to do our part during this surreal time, right?
Well, you really do. And particularly us out here in New York, New Jersey area, as hard as we're getting hit, I think we really have an understanding of how serious this virus is. I just hope and pray the rest of the country takes this as serious. Make sure you're watching and keep your social distance, and we can drive this curve down, because this is for real, isn't it, Dan?
It is, Harold. And, there's a buzz living in this Northeast. Where I'm at in Weehawken, New Jersey. I'm about an eighth of a mile from the Lincoln Tunnel, and it is so eerily quiet around here. There's very little car traffic at all. All I can say is wash your hands, keep 6 feet away, and do your part to try to flatten this curve.
Well, guys, there are a handful of Major League players and many more Major League players that are doing their part to help the cause, help those that are on the front lines fighting the coronavirus. That includes Justin Verlander. He announcing that he would donate his Major League Baseball checks during this pandemic to organizations that are fighting COVID-19. And then Bryce Harper of the Philadelphia Phillies sending out this via social media that his organization that is battling, wants to join the cause in the battle against COVID-19. Las Vegas, obviously, is his home. So in partnership with two companies in Las Vegas, as well as Philadelphia, the Bryce Harper family has committed $500,000 to help those in most immediate need, those impacted directly by the coronavirus. But Bryce Harper and Justin Verlander, not the only players doing their part.
Hey Charlie, hey Janet, hey John, what's up Ryan? Dr. Owens, how you doing? It's Pete Alonso with the New York Mets. I just want to say thank you so much for all the time and effort. Thank you on behalf of everybody. And as always, let's go Mets. As always, let's go Mets. Let's go Mets. Thank you, and always, let's go Mets.
It's really cool.
Hey, that is really cool. And Pete Alonso of the New York Mets joins us now. And Pete, in addition to those calls, you also posted on Twitter and your other social accounts a pretty impassioned plea where you asked fans that once we come back, we want you to shake the damn stadium. What was your message? Why was it important for you to get that message out to the fans?
Well, for me, I'm just really passionate about just being a New York Met, and I'm passionate about the game, and I know I'm not the only one that feels that way, and I feel like Mets fans, I've gotten a lot of messages, and people have reached out to me. It's like, oh man, we can't wait till baseball's back, and right now, especially in New York, this virus thing is affecting a lot of people's lives, and and I feel like people use sports as kind of like an out or like some sort of relief, just to help them through everyday lives. And right now there's no sports. And I feel like when baseball is back, and I know there's a lot of speculation right now with us playing like the first couple weeks, like at a neutral spot or out in Arizona or somewhere in Florida. But whenever we're allowed to play back in New York, I feel like that environment and that atmosphere is just going to be nothing short of electric. And it's going to be just that moment is going to be more, it's going to be more than just baseball. It's going to be about life and not being able to take things for granted, because I think the last time like we didn't have season was World War II, a Major League Baseball season. And then like with this whole thing, we're being delayed for something that's way bigger than the game. And I feel like that game is going to mean so much to people, or whenever we're back home, it's going to be like this whole sense of relief and just this unbelievable release of anticipation. And it's like this long wait, and that period's going to be over.
Hey, Pete, it's Dan. Do you sometimes have pinch yourself to think, a year ago, you go to big league camp, and are you going to make the team? And you find yourself a year later, not only a big part of the Mets, but a big part of Major League Baseball. There are times you just pinch yourself and say, this happened really fast.
Yeah, it did. It did happen really fast. And looking back, like just kind of, I mean, in the message I mentioned that I watched highlights a lot, basically every night, and to kind of relive those moments, it's really special. And to kind of actually look back, it's for me, this just developed such a much higher appreciation for the game of baseball, and also last year, because last year for me was just this surreal journey, and um, I mean, it's been a real blessing, but also at the same time, it's like I've work to have those moments of last year and to have the success. So it's a blessing, but also it's like, well, after last year, I need to I need to improve. I mean, there's obviously like any player can develop and carry on a better trajectory. So for me, I just want to improve on last year and help my team win a championship.
Hey, Pete, it's Harold. You're taking me right where I want to ask you. I want to ask you two questions. One, 162 games. I remember the first time I played 162 games, I thought I had mono at the end of the year. I was so tired. When did you hit the wall, and what did you learn from a year?
I feel like there's I feel like there's not a wall. I feel like there's I mean the whole season is a roller coaster ride, and there's definitely a lot of ebbs and flows, and for every little obstacle or kind of downturn, you kind of have to reinvent yourself in a new way, because some guys can get to you a little quicker. Like the scouting reports are obviously out there, or you're going against the same in division team again for the fourth time later on in the year. So it's all about for me is about trying to make those adjustments as quickly as possible. And for me, I relied a lot on my teammates for advice that have actually gone through it, like the Todd Frazier's of the world, the Robbie Cano's of the world, those guys that have been through a lot of and played a lot of baseball. I relied a lot on my veterans to help me through with advice, and they really helped me a lot.
It's hard to ask a guy who hit 50 plus home runs his rookie year, what can you improve on? So you've had a chance now more so than anybody has to sit around a little longer with this virus going on. What do you want to work on? What do you think you can improve on?
Ultimately, I want to be as dynamic as possible. For me, one of my ultimate goals in my career is to win a Gold Glove. I want to be not just a force at the plate, but I want to help not just help my pitchers out, but help my other infielders out as well. I want to be the best defender I could possibly be, because if I keep working and helping other people out around the diamond, I feel like that's just going to improve the team. And I feel like working on my defense is a part of being a good teammate. And I want to run the bases efficiently. I want to score more than 100 runs. I want to be not just run the baseball. I want to play good defense. I'm the best complete first baseman I could possibly be, and also a winner. I mean, I just want to win games at the end of the day.
Well, Pete, we appreciate you joining us. I know that those healthcare professionals that are fighting this disease on the front line, they appreciate your well wishes, and certainly Met fans and baseball fans appreciate your inspirational message. So thanks for the time. Stay safe, and we look forward to seeing you and the rest of your teammates on the diamond soon.
Oh, thank you.
MLB Tonight is presented by Camping World, making RVing fun and easy since 1966. Visit campingworld.com today.
Famed number 6 Al Kaline connects for a beauty.
He's the greatest Tiger of all time, as far as I'm concerned. He set the standard for me and every other Tiger.
There's nothing he couldn't do. Hit, run, field, throw. Great team man.
Al Kaline played his entire 22-year career in one city, Detroit. For more than a half century, as a superstar ball player, television broadcaster, and front office executive, Al Kaline has personified the Detroit Tigers like no one else.
He was a great player. He could do everything. And he was a clubhouse leader, too. He was a good guy. People looked up to him. He had a long career. He was Mr. Tiger.
1 week after signing with the Tigers on his high school graduation day, Kaline found himself in a big league lineup at the age of 18.
Obviously, I was very, very nervous, very scared, but once I got the glove in my hand, the bat in my hand, and then I had a certain amount of confidence.
The exciting youngster who went straight from the sandlots to right field on the Detroit Tiger team, leaping Al Kaline.
At the age of 20, Kaline would become the youngest player in Major League history to win a batting title, hitting .340 in 1955. He finished second in the MVP voting to Yogi Berra that year, hurt by the Tigers' fifth-place finish.
Kaline's .340 really stood out. The next highest average was .319. And that year was like a launching pad for him. It shot him up high up into the baseball firmament, and he stayed there for the next 2 decades.
You throw him sinker away, he would hit the line drive to right center field.
And there's a line drive single to center.
But if you made a mistake on the inside half of the plate, boom, he hits the ball out of Tiger Stadium.
Selected to play in 18 All-Star games, Kaline was a 10-time Gold Glove winner in right field.
I was a much better outfielder than I was a hitter, and I really took a lot of pride in playing the outfield.
He was a flawless outfielder, as good a right fielder as ever lived.
Kaline makes a leaping catch.
After finishing near the bottom of the American League standings for the better part of 15 years, Kaline's Tigers finally broke through, capturing the 1968 pennant. After falling behind Bob Gibson's Cardinals 3-1 in the World Series, the Detroit veteran singled in the go-ahead runs late in Game 5.
There's a drive into right center, a base hit for Kaline, a run in. There's another one coming in, and the Tigers have taken the lead.
That hit sparked a series comeback that resulted in a Tigers championship in 7 games.
Detroit's the new world champion.
Well, it's a big thrill, and we've been waiting a long time. Everybody in Detroit, I have, and it's a tremendous feeling.
In the only fall classic of his career, Kaline batted .379 with 8 RBIs. By 1974, Al Kaline had become Detroit's full-time DH as he entered into the last year of his career. Kaline needed 139 hits to reach 3,000. He would become the 12th player to join the 3,000 hit club on this double off Dave McNally. Mr. Tiger retired at age 39 after the 1974 season with a final hit total of 3,007.
You know, I've been very lucky. In fact, sometimes I feel I've been one of the luckiest people in the world. I played on all-star teams with the greatest players in the game. I was able to finish with over 3,000 hits. I played on the World Championship team. But most of all, I was able to make my living playing a game that has been my whole life.
After a 22-year playing career, Kaline became just the 10th player named to the Hall of Fame in his first year of eligibility. A Detroit legend, a baseball immortal, Al Kaline will forever be known as Mr. Tiger.
And little did I know that of June of 1953, when I had to choose a ball club to play with, I can never tell you how much that I thank God that I chose Detroit.
The baseball world reacting to the passing of one of the all-time greats, Wade Boggs, from his Twitter account. Sad to hear we've lost a beloved member of our Hall of Fame family, one of the nicest and sincere I've ever met, Al Kaline. You will be dearly missed, my friend. Thoughts and prayers go out to Louise and family. R.I.P. Al. And from a guy whose career was also touched by Al Kaline, Justin Verlander, of course, many years at Tigers, such a kind and generous man who meant so much to so many. I hope you knew how much I enjoyed our conversations about baseball, life, or just giving each other a hard time. I'm honored to have been able to call you my friend for all these years. R.I.P. Mr. Tiger, Al Kaline. And it is on this sad day in baseball, joined by Dan Plesac, Matt Vasgersian, reacting to the passing of one of the all-time greats. Dan, 22 years in the big leagues, all of them a Tiger, a first ballot Hall of Famer. He was just the 10th player to claim that accomplishment. And Al Kaline gone today at the age of 85. Your first reaction when you heard the news?
Very sad, Matt, because as a former player, my first 7 years in Milwaukee when the Brewers were in the American League, it was always nice to go to the old Tiger Stadium and see some of the greats. And Al Kaline was a mountain of a man. He was a kind man. He was a gentleman. When you think about it, Matt, he was kind of a Renaissance man before his time. Grew up in Baltimore, Maryland, played in the big leagues. He was 18 years old when he made his debut with the Tigers, voted into the Hall of Fame in 1980. A tremendous baseball player. He was a five-tool player. He could hit, run, and throw. Maybe one of the few regrets, ended up with 399 home runs, one short of 400. But anybody that ever came in contact with Al Kaline, one, knew what a great player he was. But, Matt, he was an even better person than that Hall of Fame player.
At the top of so many lists is Al Kaline, certainly in Tigers franchise history. But you think of his name among a very small group of players to have played a distinguished Hall of Fame career for 20 years or more with one team. Robin Yount, Derek Jeter. It's a very, Stan Musial, it's a very small club that he was a part of.
Matt, and you and I, we've been to a lot of ballparks over the years, and that's what made it so enjoyable going to Tiger Stadium, that you had heard so much about Al Kaline, but then when you met him in person, he was larger than life.
Al Kaline, one of the real gentlemen in our game, and one of the greatest players to have ever lived, gone at the age of 85.
You're watching MLB Tonight, presented by Camping World. Here's Washington National Trey Turner trying his version of the Soto Shuffle with a pitching machine. Well, maybe not quite game ready yet, but he's getting there. Hey, what can you or your young player do during this time to stay sharp? Here's Harold Reynolds.
Okay, guys, I'm back down in the basement. Today, it's about hand-eye coordination and making contact. How often have you heard, way too much swing and miss in baseball, from the big leagues to the little leagues to youth baseball, way too much swing and miss. So let's do something about it. I have a tennis racket and I have a baseball bat. Tennis racket, because I think tennis players are returning serves at 125, 130 miles an hour, is amazing. I think they might be the best at returning an object coming at them. Whether it's a hockey stick and a puck, or a baseball and a bat, tennis is pretty good. So one thing I love what tennis players are able to do is they keep their head in a position that allows them to track the ball and hit it. Square it up by leaving your head there, and then the object is hit. So what I'm gonna do today, you take the tennis ball and tennis racket, and you use the wall. And this trains you to put your head in the right position. Look at the position my head has gotta be in to hit this ball. Every time, I move my head down to hit the ball. All right? I want to take that same principle, apply it to hitting the baseball. You've often heard, oh, I just missed that one. Well, what happens is you get here and you have a tendency to now, I want to peek and see where I hit this ball to. And as a result, you miss it. Or you don't fully hit it in the barrel, you miss it down here and you pop it up or line out or whatever. I love the home run too, but swinging and missing has become so bad in baseball. So a good way to train it is to do this drill. Not just hitting the ball like that, but now I'm going to take the same thing I did with a tennis ball and drop the ball and try to hit it off the wall. If I can return it, just like this, trying to square balls up, look where my head's got to be every time to hit it. It's going to be right there and try to make that contact. That's a challenge for all of you. Keep your head in the right position, track it, leave it there, just like Nolan Arenado does in this generation. Once the ball leaves the bat, you can't control it.
Harold, good stuff, man. Hey, let's continue that theme. When we come back, we'll show you what other players are doing to stay in baseball shape. You're watching MLB Tonight. Welcome back. This is Orioles prospect Grayson Rodriguez, right-handed pitcher, number 2 prospect in their system. This is near his home in Nacogdoches, Texas, and he's going extreme long toss over a lake. That's a fur piece, is what we say down south. Hey, check this out.
Hey, Hunter, it's Dan Plesac from MLB Network. Love your video on Sandlot to the Show.
You mean business when you step up at the home plate. I do have a couple things that I think you can benefit from, so let me show you.
Try to keep a little bit more level and pull that thing down.
I want you to hit to the ball and through the ball. Work on your sway a little bit. I load. Black on that. Line drives back up the middle, and it looks like you can react in.
And don't give up, big fella. You look great.
Hey, you want your young player to get instruction from our experts? Well, post videos of what your kids are doing right now on Twitter and Instagram. Use that hashtag and tag us, and we will break down their videos. Dan and Harold, starting with you, I think it's one of the great things we do at the network.
Yeah, we brought this in a few years ago. You know, everywhere you go, somebody's asking you, how can my kid improve? This is just such a great way to see a bunch of professionals do it. Dan, what are your thoughts?
You know, Harold, it's the little kid in all of us, too. We all had dreams and aspirations to be big league players, and to see some of the youth of today following what we led, it's great to watch.
Hey, for everyone behind the scenes and behind the camera, thanks for joining us. Stay safe.